The morning she decided to escalate, everything began like any other. The house was quiet, coffee brewing, sunlight slipping through the blinds. But instead of a gentle kiss or a casual smile, my wife Jenna stood over me with a thick white envelope and a gaze sharp enough to slice steel. "We need a wake-up call," she said, dropping the papers on the table like a scene straight out of a thriller. "You've gotten too comfortable. Maybe this will remind you what you stand to lose. Divorce papers. Real ones. Not a threat, not a stunt. Legal documents with my full name printed across them." She smirked, radiating self-assured triumph, tapping the envelope lightly. "Don't worry, I'm not actually leaving," she added. "This is just to remind you who you could lose if you don't put in the effort." She expected shock, panic, desperation. Instead, a strange clarity settled over me. I stared, silently. She wanted me to plead, to apologize for unnamed offenses, to prove my devotion like a contestant on a reality show. She wanted to feel indispensable. Meanwhile, I had worked late nights, chased promotions, saved for our future, and built the life she paraded on Instagram like trophies. And yet, she always demanded more. More attention, more drama, more control. "Don't you have anything to say?" She finally snapped when my silence didn't feed her ego. I calmly opened the envelope, flipping through the pages. My heartbeat slowed, my breathing evened. For the first time in years, I saw our marriage clearly. Not a partnership, but a stage for her need for applause rather than love. "You wanted my attention," I said softly. "You have it." Then I picked up a pen. Her confident mask faltered as I signed the line. Slowly, clearly, the scratch of the pen louder than her breath. She recoiled like she'd been struck. "What are you doing?" she whispered, panic rising. "You think I'm playing games with my marriage?" I asked, handing back the papers. "If you measure love with threats and fear, then this isn't a marriage." Her eyes blinked rapidly, composure crumbling. This wasn't part of her script. I was supposed to beg, to chase, to prove myself on her terms. Instead, I chose calm. "I chose dignity." Shock washed over her. "Wait, you really signed it?" she stammered, voice breaking. "It wasn't supposed to go like this." She reached for my arm. I stepped back. The moment she weaponized divorce, she severed something fragile and sacred. "If you wanted to talk, you should have talked," I said. "You didn't want conversation. You wanted control." Tears formed in her eyes. For the first time in a long while, she looked uncertain, not superior. Our home felt like a battlefield after the smoke cleared. Quiet, hollow, truth echoing in every corner. "I just wanted you to try harder," she pleaded. I shrugged. "If you need threats to feel valued, then you never valued me at all." She sank into the chair, head in her hands. "I didn't think you'd call my bluff," she murmured. "I thought you'd fight." I sat across from her, calm but aching. "Love isn't proven through fear. I gave you everything. If that wasn't enough, nothing ever would be." The truth settled heavily between us. She realized it not because I yelled, but because I didn't. Silence can cut deeper than anger. It shows exactly what's been lost. Tear-streaked, she whispered, "Can we fix this?" But the fear in her voice had replaced entitlement. She was scared. Scared of losing the man she assumed would never walk away. My phone buzzed. A message from my lawyer friend. The one I texted the moment she handed me the envelope. "Call me when you're ready. I'll file it." Her eyes widened. "You already contacted someone." This time I didn't soften. Threats have consequences. She reached for my hand, desperation replacing arrogance. "Don't do this." I didn't mean it. I was emotional. I shook my head. "You were calculating." For the first time, she grasped the weight of those papers. They weren't leverage, they were reality. She followed me to the bedroom as I packed a bag. "Please, we can fix this," she begged. "Therapy, anything." She gripped my arm, voice trembling. "I love you." I paused. Once, those words would have melted me. Now, they sounded like handcuffs disguised as roses. "You loved control," I said. "You loved me chasing you, but never enough to trust or communicate like an adult." "No, that's not true." She shook her head violently. I gently untangled her fingers from mine. "Then your actions betrayed your heart." She collapsed onto the bed, sobbing as I zipped my bag. Heartbreaking, but necessary. Not all pain is cruelty. Sometimes it's the only path forward. "What will I tell people?" she whispered. "Tell the truth," I said. "You brought divorce papers into our home, and I respected your choice." As I reached the door, she stood trembling behind me. "Please don't go," she whispered, fragile and broken. I turned. The woman I once planned forever with now faced the consequences of her own manipulation. "You don't threaten to burn the house down to see if someone loves living in it," I said softly. "You end up standing in the ashes." She clutched the signed papers like fragments of her own heart, sobbing. I didn't slam the door. I didn't shout. I I walked out. The silence screamed louder than anything I could say. A week later, she appeared at my new apartment. No makeup, no pride, just raw regret. "I ruined everything," she whispered. I didn't gloat. I nodded. "Sometimes we don't realize who truly loves us until we push them too far," she said, voice trembling. "And sometimes," I replied, "we don't realize what peace feels like until we let go of the person who confused love with power." She reached halfway to touch me, then stopped. I was gone. Not angry, not bitter, just done. I closed the door gently. She stood frozen in the hallway, holding those papers like a gravestone. She tried to scare me into loving her. Instead, she taught me the power of walking away.